What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Taylor Hall and the New Jersey Devils. Could there be a trade in the future? It could be a little bit too early to be talking about it, but of course, since there's a lot of rumors going around, I decided that I'd give my take on it. Now, I've been doing a New Jersey Devils podcast with Downtown Stephen Brown and O. Nyquist. Make sure to go and check that out. It's called the Microphones and Pitchforks podcast. I think we're like 5 or 6 episodes in. O. Nyquist hasn't been available yet because of technical difficulties, but myself and Downtown Stephen Brown have been doing them, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been following the Devils pretty closely, and they haven't had a great start to the year. They're 0-4-2. So they haven't won yet, and they acquired a ton of talent in the summer. The draft was good for them, and there's a lot of players that aren't really playing up to their potential yet. And of course, it is early. Depending on when you're watching this video, they might have a win by now. But Taylor Hall has been in the rumors because we know that Taylor Hall is a free agent this summer, and he'll probably be the biggest name available if he gets there. And he's been questioned a little bit as of late whether or not that has come into his mind, and he's like, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it. So instantly people are like, okay, he's already been thinking about it. He knows that if the Devils can't pick it up here, that he's going to want to move on. Because don't get me wrong, it's very early in the season. The New Jersey Devils can literally turn this around within a couple weeks and be back on track. But if you play 3 or 4 more games and you keep losing, the gap is going to start to get a little bit too tough to climb. There's some teams out here that are just winning games constantly to start the year, and you're going to be chasing that all year. If you can't start to make up those wins right now, you're going to be chasing all year. A lot of people say, it is too early or whatever, but there's a difference when you're at 500 versus not winning any games at all. The Devils have started with 2 points to start the year. That's unacceptable with the talent that they have on their team. So this has started to stir up a little bit, of course, after the losses. But Elliotte Friedman has said a couple things, and again, he's not guaranteeing any of this stuff, but he's saying that it could be out there. Now, he said that the New Jersey Devils, their big plan is still to sign Taylor Hall. They've been, very open about wanting to keep Taylor Hall in this team and make him a part of this core with Hughes and, Subban now brought on, and there's a lot of really good, talent there. They've got a really good blue line. They've got a really good team. They want to continue to build with Taylor Hall in the lineup. But there could be a point where the Devils go, okay, if we keep losing like this, we're going to have to at least consider taking some calls if Taylor Hall is not open to talking about a contract, because the Devils can't wait all year on Taylor Hall, especially if it gets closer to the deadline and Taylor Hall is still I'm not really feeling this, and his agent is Darren Ferris, so there's a really good chance he's not signing within this season. So there's a really good chance that the Devils, if they're not a playoff team or at least contending for a playoff spot, they're going to have to make a tough choice. And I've said it in the podcast, if the Devils go out there and trade for a goaltender and trade for maybe another depth piece on their team and they turn it around, great. But the Devils can't afford to go and make a trade, a significant one, and then it not work, and then Taylor Hall, move on. Or they can't make a trade like this and not have any clarity on the contract standpoint and have to wait until the summer. The Devils are in a really tough spot here to start the year. They need to start winning some games, or else this situation is going to get a lot worse. So Elliotte Friedman was on Tim and Sid and said this: the Devils know if they aren't looking like a consistent playoff team, the chances of him staying are extremely unlikely. They know they have to get going. They made a pretty interesting move today behind the bench and realize if it doesn't change, they're going to have to start conversations with other clubs. Now, I believe they brought in Fitzgerald. I believe that was his last name. He's played over 1,000 NHL games. I think he has a cup as a coach. I can't remember, but they brought him in. He works in their head office, but they brought him down to help with the team. He's going to act as another assistant coach. So, there's some guys on the hot seat there. John Hines, the coach, is definitely on the hot seat, but they've been making some interesting, changes, and they're going to have to make some phone calls if they keep losing games. Now, Elliotte Friedman also said it would not surprise me at all if Edmonton is a big suitor there. I don't know if they can make a trade, if they have enough to make a deal, but it just wouldn't surprise me. Put it this way, it has long been believed that if Edmonton had a chance to correct and bring him back, they would be interested. There's a new GM there now, so we'll see. I wouldn't put anything into that right now of, Elliot Friedman saying it wouldn't surprise him. He's not saying that it's there. I would look at teams like the Oilers, in free agency, maybe if they clear out a little bit of money. I don't know if they can make that move. I don't think that they want to take away some young pieces, even though they've started the season out really well. I don't think that they want to, have to give up too much unless it is a good deal. But the Devils would get, a king's ransom for Taylor Hall. We're talking like top-end prospects and picks. And the other teams that I would think would be interested would probably be the New York Islanders. I would say the Montreal Canadiens. There's a lot of teams that could really make a push. Maybe even the Canucks. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that aren't afraid to make big moves, but there's also a lot of teams that have the prospect capital and picks that can make this happen. Like Montreal for sure definitely could make it happen. I don't know how much the Oilers and Canucks could do. The Canucks definitely have a lot of young stars, but I don't know how much they would be willing to give up. They also have a goaltending prospect, a couple of them, they've got DiPietro and Demko. Maybe that could entice the Devils. That would be a huge prospect pickup if you got one of those guys. So a bunch of teams that you could look at. I would think that there's a lot of suitors. If Taylor Hall ended up on the Canadiens, then we're talking about a really powerhouse team. You add Taylor Hall to a team that's already really good. The Canucks would definitely benefit from it. The Oilers, the way that they've started the season, they would benefit. But I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon. I think that it's way too early to judge this. And it's going to take a couple months for the Devils to realize what's really going on. And once they figure that out, that's when you'll see some movement in the Taylor Hall rumor front. But it's interesting to see that there's already some stuff out there, and especially when guys like Elliot Friedman or a guy like Bob McKenzie or somebody brings it up. I think even Pierre LeBrun wrote something this morning about it. So people are definitely starting to think that it's a possibility in the near future. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. Make sure to check out all my other videos. I talk about all NHL teams. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.